You're a Netflix executive in a conference room, staring at 5 true crime cases that will never see the platform. The legal team just handed you their final recommendation. These stories are too dangerous for public consumption. What makes a case so disturbing that even Netflix, a company built on dark content, won't touch it? The answer reveals something far more calculated than legal risk. The first case that never made it to your screen involved the Zodiac Killer investigation. Netflix had greenlit a 4-part series examining Arthur Lee Allen in early 2025, complete with exclusive access to evidence that had never been publicly released. The legal department shut it down 3 weeks before filming. Their official reason: ongoing investigative concerns with the San Francisco Police Department. Internal communications obtained through leaked documents tell a different story. The real issue wasn't the police. It was Allen's surviving family members threatening a defamation lawsuit that could have cost Netflix upwards of $50 million. The second case hit even closer to home for Netflix executives. They'd commissioned a deep dive into the Golden State Killer, focusing specifically on the victims' families who'd never gotten their stories told. 3 episodes were already in post-production when the plug got pulled in September 2025. Netflix's public statement cited sensitivity to victim privacy, but production notes from the leaked materials reveal the actual trigger. Joseph James DeAngelo's legal team had gotten wind of the project and threatened to expose details about Netflix's security practices, details that would have revealed how streaming companies actually track user data during criminal investigations. Then there's the case that forced Netflix's board to personally intervene. A documentary crew had spent 2 years investigating the disappearance of Maura Murray, uncovering leads that law enforcement had missed for over 2 decades. The project was scheduled to release in January 2026, but Netflix yanked it 48 hours before launch. The official statement: legal complications. What Netflix didn't disclose was that the documentary had identified a person of interest connected to a major Netflix shareholder. The family's legal team didn't just threaten a lawsuit, they threatened to liquidate their entire investment portfolio from the company. These 3 cases reveal the pattern Netflix is protecting: not legal risk, but financial and corporate exposure. After seeing how Netflix killed projects worth millions to protect their shareholders, do you think streaming platforms should have to disclose when financial interests influence their content decisions? Drop your answer in the comments below. But these 3 cases are just the beginning of Netflix's content control strategy. The 4th case that Netflix buried reveals the darkest layer of their content control strategy. In late 2025, a production team had spent 18 months investigating the unsolved murder of a tech executive whose death had been ruled a suicide. The documentary uncovered evidence suggesting the victim had been working on exposing data manipulation practices at major streaming platforms, including Netflix. 3 days before the scheduled release date in March 2026, Netflix's board received what internal sources described as credible intelligence that the documentary would trigger federal investigations into the company's data collection practices. The project was killed instantly, with Netflix citing newly discovered legal complexities in their public statement. The 5th and final case exposes just how far Netflix will go to protect their corporate relationships. A documentary crew had gained exclusive access to evidence in a disappearance case involving someone who'd been investigating connections between streaming platforms and foreign intelligence operations. The investigation had specifically tracked how Netflix's international expansion had created vulnerabilities that hostile governments were exploiting to influence American audiences through algorithmic manipulation. When the documentary was set to premiere in April 2026, Netflix didn't just cancel it, they bought out the entire production company for an undisclosed sum and buried all footage under a permanent non-disclosure agreement. These aren't just content decisions, they're strategic moves to protect Netflix's position in a global information war. The company that markets itself as giving you unlimited access to stories has actually become one of the most sophisticated gatekeepers of which stories you're allowed to hear. Every true crime documentary they approve serves their interests. Every case they ban reveals what they're really afraid of: Not legal liability, but losing control of the narrative that keeps their empire intact. When you're watching Netflix's true crime content, you're not getting the full picture. You're getting the version they've deceived.